All right, we're live, Gerry. This is the third one. This is the second one you've joined on, and last week we had Matt on, Matt Money on. You were busy. What the heck were you doing last weekend?
I was watching the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, the Super Bowl. Yeah, I decided to just say, yeah, I didn't know if I figured it was in the ninth inning and it was almost over, so why not just come on here and talk to everybody here? Because making money is something you have to think about 24 hours a day and 7 days a week, and it never stops. So, really, what I wanted to touch on in this video, and we talked about it just a second ago before we went live, is I just wanted to touch on covered calls, kind of make that maybe the focus of the beginning of this, and kind of because it might be good for anybody that's watching this as beginners. That's where I kind of recommend people to begin with covered calls. So I think I even mentioned that to you when you first started doing options. Start with covered calls, and I believe that's where you started. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's definitely where I started. It's really the no risk way to start trying to figure out options and how they operate. How to buy and sell them. What does it mean? What does a strike price mean? What does the premium mean? All those mechanics of it. You can learn about options in a low of actually it's essentially a no risk way
Right.
to get your feet wet into it, and then once you're in there, then you start understanding how that mechanics of those things work, then you can branch off, but definitely start covered calls first.
And when he says, low risk, it's really a secondary risk, right? It's not really there's no direct risk, I would call it. If you sell below your cost basis, there's risk there that you would lose money, right? But that to me is just a stupid mistake. If you think you can come in there and squeeze a strike below what your cost basis is and not have it get taken out, that is just a big risk that you're taking to have that stock called away at a lower price than what you paid. So don't make that mistake. And what I mean by secondary risk is there's no risk by just putting it on. If you're above your cost basis, you're not going to lose money, period. All right. And when I talk about, secondary risk, there's tax consequences too, right? If you have like $100,000 gain in a stock, you sell a strike above your cost basis, it gets above that. You don't roll it, you don't take care of it, whatever. Guess what? You're going to have $100,000 of realized gains right then and there. So there's secondary risks, but in general, as what Gerry said, it's a great way to get started. Very low risk, secondary risk. It's very easy to get approved for as well, or at least easier than a lot of other strategies. It's a somewhat easy strategy to start with. So that's the reason why I just wanted to touch on that for anybody that's here. Maybe you're past covered calls at this point, but for anybody that's here that's brand new to options, start with covered calls. You don't need a lot of money to start with it either, right? You can start with AT&T, Cisco, Intel, Coca-Cola. What's some other low price ones?
I'm like the king of low price ones. You got Pfizer, you got
Pfizer.
yeah, you got PPL, a utility. That's normally a safe stock to own anyway. So I'm not suggesting that you go out and buy it, but I'm just throwing those things out there like that.
You probably won't get rich off of them, but
No, you won't get rich off of them. And I see what a lot of people do is they'll go out and buy something like, though this is one of the things, they'll go out and buy Ford.
I was just gonna say Ford.
They'll go out and buy 100 shares of Ford, and they'll sell a month option out for $1 more, and they'll collect like 10 cents. and then the stock falls, and then you're in trouble, stuck holding Ford. So you just like anything, you always want to just buy quality, and
Right.
you be okay there.
It's a good way to get out of a stock too. I mean, it's a good way to get out of a stock. It's a good way to make extra money. I really just don't do cover calls in any individual stocks really anymore because I'm so darn busy with doing the other option strategies at this point in a different account. So really the only covered calls I have out at this point is I got 14 contracts on VYM. That's it. It's actually in the money right now. So we'll find out on Friday what's going to happen with that, whether I need to roll it. And, maybe I should touch on why I would roll it, right? I got, at this point, I'm actually looking here. There's 16, almost $17,000 in gains in VYM at this point. So if I don't roll it, my 1,400 shares are going to go away. They're going to get taken out of my account, and I'm going to get paid all of the capital at that strike price, and I'm going to have a realized gain of $17,000. So I don't want to be paying taxes on that, right? I don't want to pay taxes on anything, period. But that is the reason why I'm going to end up rolling it, probably up to a higher strike. And hopefully, I'm obviously going to push the gains off on the actual covered call itself, which I think I'm up. I think it was like $400 in premium or something like that for 2 months. So that's that was probably just a little bit what do you call it? A little bit less risk right there, or a secondary risk, right? If you're in a covered call, you don't want that stock to be taken away because of the realized gain. Then you need to keep rolling it up. So if you're in a shitty stock, well, that shitty stock's not the right word. If you're in a Roku, right, then it could just run up way past what your strike is, and then you're going to miss out on those gains. And, it might be hard to get above that as well. So you might actually just, be forced to sell your stock at that strike price because you might not be able to get ahead of it if it just runs up too quick. So that doesn't happen to me because I'm not in those types of stocks, though.
Now, in an IRA, particularly a Roth IRA, you can do those things all day long, every day. Realize gains, sell covered calls. None of those profits, none of those capital gains by your shares being called away inside a Roth IRA, you'll be taxed for. No taxes whatsoever in the activity that you do in a Roth IRA. And I think some people, forget about that you can generate, a decent amount of income within the Roth IRA, tax-free forever. So that's a powerful thing to think about.
And, I think the best strategy, I think Matt Money has talked about this. A good strategy for a Roth is, wheeling's a good strategy in there, and at the money too, right? At the money CSPs, at the money calls, like just.
Yeah. He's got me doing that this week, actually. This past week, I've kind of followed him in that example in my 2 Roth IRAs. So.
Because you don't have to worry about the tax ramifications. Yeah. Let's see here. What do we got? We pretty much covered the basics right there, right?
That's pretty
Of
much
covered
it.
calls.
You got to have 100 shares to sell a covered call. You have to own 100 shares.
Correct.
Except for, the poor man's covered call, but that's a totally different aspect. For most people, buying 100 shares, or if you've already owned 100 shares, then you have the opportunity to enter a covered call trade. And it's the best basics.
Yeah. Be in stocks that you like. Don't buy them necessary for covered call, for juicy premiums. Ford was a good example. I knew you were going to bring that up, which kind of cracked me up. So it's probably not a bad stock. It's just I bet you have to go pretty close to or at the money to make decent money off of it, right?
You have to go
50
at
cent strikes or something like that.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the only issue with that one. Well, we can move on out of covered calls. I think a lot of our people here watching probably, maybe be past covered calls. It's definitely a good strategy to employ on some dividend paying stocks because it's such, dividend stocks really don't run up very much. Normally, most of the ones I probably did on were Microsoft, Apple, JPM, and J&J because they're bigger stocks. They're easier to make, $20 to $50 a month on or something like that. And then some of the smaller stocks, when I call smaller, just the lower price stocks we just touched on a second ago, the Coca-Colas, the PFEs, which you mentioned, PPL.
PPL. Oh, I did. I just did one last week on Kroger, ticker symbol
Okay,
KR.
Kroger.
So I bought 100 shares and sold a 2-week out covered call and collected, I want to say $60 if I off the top of my head. So
What are you holding in Kroger for? I'm just curious. I mean, is that you're not doing a PMCC? You're not. I mean, I thought you got rid of all your stocks.
I'm pretty much almost all out of stocks, but like I said, Matt got me into the damn wheeling thing in my Roth because I didn't want to I didn't want to drain my Roth all the way, and I had about $3,500 sitting in one. So I was like, well, let me see if I can wheel one. I could be like Uncle Matt over here, Big Money Matt. And I've always liked Kroger. I played Kroger cash secured puts every once in a while. So yeah, I just did it. I'll wheel it and see how it goes.
And for anybody that's watching here, the wheel strategy is essentially selling a cash secured put, all right, on stock that you want to own. Okay, so a quality stock, all right, at a price that you want to own it at. If it gets down there and it gets assigned to you, and you turn around and sell a covered call against it, and then it gets taken away, you start the whole process over again. Now, it could be a while, it could be weeks, it could be months, it could be years before you're actually assigned that stock on your, cash covered put or cash secured put. If you want to get more aggressive with the strategy, come closer to the end of the money or at the money, and you'll get assigned. And as long as it's not a piece of shit stock, it won't go below what you got assigned at. Hopefully, too far. You can sell covered calls against it, and maybe a little bit higher on that. And it gets, called away from you, and then you start the whole process over again. So that's basically what the wheel strategy is. It's a great strategy for a Roth as well.
Ideally is you don't want to be assigned that stock at all.
Well, what's weird
sell
about
that sucker every month.
You can make more money with selling with at the money calls, though. So, I mean, you can make more money if you're not going to go too far down on the cash secured put. You can make a lot of money on that, right? You get assigned, and then you can turn around right away and sell a covered call. As long as the stock doesn't drop, you're going to make a crap load of money on the covered call and the cash secured put right then and there because still goes the money, right?
But there's no guarantee. The thing is, with a cash secured put, there's no guarantee that you will be assigned. So you could be selling that cash secured put for months and just collect money. You're essentially being paid to not own the stock. Which is freaking awesome, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's. I don't know a lot of people that are willing to doing it that way specifically. I think that most people, or for me anyway, I probably would try to find like some prices way down low. Matt might be in a different case where he'll probably try to come closer to the money or at the money and get assigned and then turn around and just do a covered call. I mean, that happened to me back in February of last year, and the covered calls are like $500. You know what I mean? Like it was a crap load of money for a short amount of time. So that's a good one to touch on. I personally have never wheeled ever. So at this point in my life, there's really no reason for me to wheel in my options account. The only thing I'd probably wheel on would be in a Roth, and I don't have a Roth. I do have a retirement account. I guess I could wheel in there, but it's all dividend stocks, so I don't wheel in there either. But that's where I would wheel, I guess. Good strategy. What's this one? Would you consider something like a portfolio and only an ETF like VWAM, and do you only do covered calls? Seems like
that's all you.
Yeah. Yeah, I do have quite a few. I wouldn't call it a somewhat. It's going to be a larger position down the road, but right now it's 1,400 shares in VYM, and it's 14 contracts on VYM right now. I went 60 days out just to get a little bit different selection of strikes. Instead of like a $2 or a $5 strike in between or something like that, I got like a dollar or something in between. So give me a little bit more selection there. I think Matt suggested that. It worked out great on our Saturday night chat. But let's see. Would you consider something like portfolio only? Yeah, absolutely. You know how tempting it is to get rid of all my other dividend stocks just for VYM?
Yeah, that it starts to especially for us when we're starting to generate income from other option strategies. So it's like, why it becomes a management thing, right? So we're managing these option strategies, these cash secured puts and things like that we're doing, but also having 30 dividend stocks in a portfolio that you have to pay attention to as well at the same time. It gets it gets a little overwhelming. So having a simple portfolio, that's where I'm trying to get to. Having a simple portfolio of just an ETF or two on the side while I focus on generating income on a daily basis in my
and
option.
I'm kind of like the guinea pig, it seems like. So because I had intentions, I had 39 positions or something last year or whatever. And I had intentions to build every position up past 100 shares. Some was going to be a lot larger than that, obviously. By the time you add $1 million into a portfolio, it's a lot of crap shares in there, right? That's a lot to freaking manage. Not only are you managing your portfolio, checking in on, earnings calls. No, you don't have to do that necessarily. I've mentioned this, maybe never on a live stream, but we're in the best companies in the world, right? You don't need to go in there and babysit these sums bitches, all right? All right, a Johnson and Johnson, a Coca-Cola, a Pepsi, a Microsoft, an Apple. These are the largest companies in the world. You don't need to be listening to conference calls. Okay, check in on them at least once a year or so. Make sure they're not going to be pulling a GE on you. All right. If you can't trust these companies, what companies can you trust? All right. Okay, so I'm just going to get that out in the air. And at that point, I will say, yeah, you're still managing 30 something positions or whatever, however many positions you have, at least 11, right? Because you want all sectors included, and hopefully. Unfortunately, if you only have 11 stocks, you're going to be missing out on some darn good stocks. And some defensive plays in this consumer staples. But imagine trying to manage all the options in there too, right? Making sure they're not going to get called away, all right, and generating a taxable event for you. Okay, so 30 positions in there, which I have in my portfolio right now. 30 positions in there. It's really 29 plus VYM. Doing cover calls on all those positions, plus managing the portfolio. Okay, that's a lot to do. And I figured that out late last year or so. Whenever I went into VYM, it's just too much work. Plus, I'm doing my other options account, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's when do you average down, on a position? Where does that money come from when to average down? Is you're going to have to pull from something else? You got to think about rebalancing. It's a lot to think about when you could just buy an ETF, be done with it, and yes, you could possibly be giving up some outperformance there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But the peace of mind, like Dave always says, coma money with an ETF like a VYM or something like that, you can go away, put the portfolio on autopilot, and it's going to do its thing. You ain't even got to mess with it. So
while you're sleeping,
it's generating and doing its thing.
I mean, let me mention a couple caveats to VYM, and I made a video on it, but it might not be the best choice for everybody. You are missing some good stocks in VYM, right? There's 5 stocks in my portfolio that's missing out of there: Starbucks, Home Depot's, Microsoft, Apple, and I think Realty Income in my portfolio are not in VYM. All right, that's part of the reasons why VYM didn't outperform last year compared to like DGRO, for example. DGRO is probably a better overall ETF, but it actually has a lower yield too. But you might get compensated on the upside. To me, right now, I'd say income is more important to me, at least right now. when you're trying to transition to retirement, I think that income is something you're going to think about, right? Because for me, it's like I never know. I mean, even though the market goes up, what, 8% on average a year, it's like, is that trustworthy? You know what I mean? Like, it's a warm and fuzzy type of feeling. That's what I get from having a larger yield on VYM. That's what I get from it.
Yeah, and I'd like to caution people too that, because when we first start out, like I'm new to that. I'm not immune to that at all. I was a yield chaser like crazy, and looking
I
at
helped you with that.
5% yield, 6% yield, hell yeah. But at the end of the day, after 2 years, you're still down. So it's like, what did you gain, right? So
all those covered calls and all those, dividend cuts, and he didn't do covered calls, but the dividend cuts or the dividend suspensions and the bankruptcy scares. That's just yeah. I had a problem with that when I was watching your videos, but you fixed it quick. So,
when you go through a 50% drawdown, that'll probably make you consider what the hell you're doing.
So let me just touch on the last portion of this here, like VWAM and only do cover calls. So I had to cover calls right now. If I build that up to what was it, 9,000 shares? I think at some point I was going to try to build that up to 9,000 shares. That's 90 contracts you're dealing with every single month at 65 cents a pop, right? But you can generate a decent amount of money. Like, it's going to be another 1.5% return you're going to get a year out of that. And that's trying to be conservative on the upside. So it gives you a little bit of upside there as well. But that just augments your 3 point whatever percent return that VYM gives you. It's kind of free money, right? So why not do it? Let's see here. What's this one? Frank, my man. Yeah, let's see. I don't know if there's a question there. Have you used the TWS API? Yeah, if you so, the cost or limit to the number of calls. Could you automate a trading? Yes, you can. There's already one out there, believe it or not. I'm testing it out in my paper account, by the way. I have done quite a few scripts against the AWS, frick you, against the TWS APIs. Okay, you have to have Pro for that, by the way. A lot of it's just managing my portfolio from there. It's not necessarily putting on trades. It's more about auto-populating my spreadsheet and all that, and running PMCC numbers, which you'll see. I'm going to release a video on it. But the second part of this here, can you automate a trading? Yes, there's already one out there. Like I said, I'm running it against my paper portfolio. It's called Theta Gain. Okay, it's on GitHub. Theta Gain. You download it. There's a Docker version as well. And really, essentially, what it does is you can maybe set up a cron job or something like that. I guess if it was on a Windows box, you could do like a AT or a scheduled task. And you want to run it once a day, and there's like parameters, an ATOML file that you set, the delta, the how much margin you want it to use or buy-in power you want it to use. Do you want it to roll? Do you want it to assign? Do you want it? You put the delta and all that stuff in there. So there's parameters you stick in there. You can stick the tickers in there. I have mine set up for SPY right now, and this will run once a day. It'll check if you have any positions in there, and if you don't, it'll go ahead and sell basically it's a cash secured put, and depending on how large your portfolio was and what your parameters are and all that, it'll sell 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 1,000 contracts or whatever, and then it'll check. You just run it once a day, and it'll go in there and check: is it within 15 days of expiration? Is it close to being in the money or something like that? Do you want to be assigned? The goal, it's kind of a willing strategy is what it is. So you do get assigned stock. That's how the strategy works. It's not a no assignment strategy. So it already exists. I've already looked at it. I'm running it now as a test. And I'm also seeing if I want to make any modifications to the code, because I mean, obviously you have the code. It's just all Python code. So that's what that is there. Check it out.
And it's called Theta Gang, like Gang.
Theta Gang, yeah. Linux would be the best way to run it personally. So I'm running Linux as my desktop anyway. But I'm thinking about like how can I run this thing when I'm on the AT? You know, like just run it once a day. You know what I mean? Can I run it from a phone? You know, but no. You know, you really don't want to run it from like a VPS server either, because you got account credentials and all that shit in there, and it's like somebody hacks that, they're gonna have access to your credentials. So you really want to keep it under tight wraps. I hope that answered that question. Did you see any other questions? Or there's a lot of questions. Did you see any good ones? Try to get to them all.
Matt's upset that the market is closed tomorrow.
We all are. We're all.
I know. I kept looking at futures. Like, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah, I almost popped up the. I was like, I got pop up. I'm like, well, let's see. Trump got acquitted. Let's see what happened to the market. You know, and it's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, let's see. What's this one? How does it work with the PMC if you get assigned in your short-term call, and do you always roll? The short-term call, we figured out in Randy because it happened to him when he was under the knife. So basically, essentially, you're just negative how many of our shares or contracts. So if you're 5 contracts, you be negative 500 shares, and then turn around on that Monday or whatever the next trading day is. Just exercise your long call, and that'll satisfy the short call that got assigned. So we pretty much just, you know, figured out what happens there. You know, I even know I was testing out in the paper count too. Yeah, VTI is definitely a good way to go. It's one of those things where I don't know, like I said, it's the warm and fuzzy issue that I have, right? Because VTI pays less than, it's like 1% yield or something like that, right? I don't know exactly. It's less than 2%, right?
It's 1.5.
Yeah. So if you're in VTI, you're going to get covered in overall markets, right? Matter of fact, it's even more than the S&P 500 stocks, right? It's literally the overall market. Doesn't cover, you know, international or anything like that. If you want that, go with VT. But so VTI is an excellent choice, but if you want that warm and fuzzy with that little bit of income, you know, from the dividends, right, then you're going to have to be in something like VYM, or you have to be in, you know, a DGRO. I think you're in SCHD, or did you get out of that?
I'm out of SCHD. I'm out of pretty much everything. I set up my wife with DGRO, so that should satisfy the growth part.
For VTI, for people that are starting out investing, and if you just went VTI your whole life, you'd be very wealthy, right? If you just constantly invested in that every week, every 2 weeks, every month, whatever, just give it, you know, I mean, if you want to early retire, then maybe VTI is not the best choice. I mean, I don't know. That could be a debatable thing.
It's debatable because you know, it really depends on how much money you need to live on, the strategy of how you pull money out, you know, the cash management aspect of retirement. So it really depends, but it's definitely the less stressful one, I'd say.
Oh yeah, and you're going to cover everything. You're going to cover literally. You want to cover every stock, then go with VTI. It'll make you very wealthy. That's just, you know, I mean, 8% a year. I mean, that's, you know, I mean, obviously it's not guaranteed, but where you know, past performance not indicative future results, or whatever that saying is.
We are not financial advisors.
Yeah, say it in your radio voice. Let's see. Yeah, I know, Matt. Me too. We're like Pablo Escobar over here, staring at the fence and shit. When you exercise your leap, let's see. When you exercise your leap, you buy them at your strike and gets taken away. I think he was talking about the PMCC there, right?
It sounds like it, yeah.
I have quite a few PMCCs on right now, like I don't know, 5 or 6 on right now, and I'm kind of feeling it out. I'm not like totally mm, all in on PMCCs. Let me just say it that way. I wouldn't say I'm not sold on them. It's just I'm not.
I
There's
have,
there's a there's a flaw with it, right?
yeah, I have a few. I actually have about probably 6 or 7, and I'm probably going to cut that back, only because that capital used to buy the leap is used. So it's not. I mean, for me, if I had a much larger account, then it would be okay to buy a bunch of these leaps. But me being such a smaller account, if I'm buying, if I'm spending 10 grand on 4 leaps, that's a big chunk of my portfolio. So
I would say the what we're running into, and now granted we're kind of just I think we're spoiled because how many PMCC that you and I got into that just went up, right? We sold everything and took our profit, right? That was a little bit of a spoiled thing. I mean, these are 2 year freaking leaps that we bought, so they don't expire for 2 years. So if the market goes down, we can still make money on the call side or the short call side. I mean, we have literally 2 years to make up that difference there and break even at the minimum, right? I mean,
yeah,
obviously we want to make money, but
I think there's some strategy to entering these. Um, uh, now that I'm looking at it, like it'd be good to enter when a stock is somewhat on a downtrend. That's kind of getting to their bottom, I would say. Um, it would
yes.
probably be nice to do it right after earnings as well, to enter into the leap after earnings. After it's, because usually around earnings is a time when stocks make their move either up or down. So if you get into them after earnings, theoretically, you'll have 3 months of selling covered calls to reduce your leap cost basis until the next earnings report. So even if they miss the next earnings report, you should have a cushion from selling those 3 months of short calls to bring your cost basis down. So
I think
I'm
we're just testing them out right now. We're testing them out on solid stocks. You don't really run PMCCs on an Amazons of the world and crap like that. I don't think you do, but I mean, Tasty Works, Tasty Trades, whatever you want to call it, maybe they do. I don't know. We're doing it on stocks that are solid companies that aren't going to really. You don't have to worry about them going away. You don't have to worry about major volatility in them usually either. They're coma stocks. So, but I mean, there's a stock I'm in that's down $1,500. I mean, I haven't tried to sell a covered call against that leap yet to see if I can even make any money on it. Obviously you can if you go out, right? There's 6 months or something, but so I'm still the jury's out. The jury's out at this point. Whether or not it's a strategy I'm gonna, replace my whole dividend portfolio with, right? Like I don't think that's something I've considered. I mean, we talked about it last week with Matt. You probably make, at the most, 7x, 8x your dividends that you make, right? If you make $13,000 like I do in my dividend portfolio with $400,000, you can make 6, 7, 8, 9 times that with doing PMCC strategy. But it's not guaranteed because if the stocks go down, then that's going to cut into the amount of money you're going to make on your short calls. So, anyways, we're testing it out. We're going to literally go into the knife for you, everybody. Let me see. I think I've been chatting too much here. Questions. Gerry, will you be my Valentine? I think he's already got one.
think you're
And it's
just a
me.
little bit too late.
Let me just see, in honor of Barney Stinson here, happy not a Valentine's Day for all you single people.
Should have hit me up first thing this morning.
Yeah. Carrie, she might stab me for sure.
Quite possibly. My
Let's
wife
see,
is
rent creeping
my
up.
wife is ruthless.
Oh. You talking about crude there? You talking about crude? You can talk about good old crude? Crude oil, huh? Let's see here. I really started to love buying leaps. Yes, we talked about that last night. That is so it seems like every single, I've been through what? One, two, uno, dos, tres, cuatro. I've been through three recessions in my life, okay? Now, the first one, I was just starting to get invested. I didn't really know shit, right? I don't know shit now, but so 2008, I learned more, right? And then I applied it to this last one we had last year, okay? And unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that happened in 2008, you try to apply to this time, it didn't work, right? Like literally, like you thought it was going to take a lot longer to get invested. Like you had what, a month? You know
A
what I
month.
mean?
That was it.
So, that helicopter money that Jay Powell just came, in there, just dumped, boom, $2 trillion, boom, gone. It's in there. It's in the market, right? Like it came out of nowhere and it happened so quick. And, you had everybody out there like, panicking and, all pissed off, hoping that there was going to be a double dip recession and all that because they missed out, So I played it perfectly. I made a video on it. For me, I played it perfectly, but I learned more. I learned more this time than I did last time, and this time I'm going to take that information that I learned in 4 years. We'll have another one because, the big old B will probably cause the market to crash. So, if you don't, sorry, I had to mention that in there. But if he doesn't, maybe we'll get 7 to 10 years out of it, hopefully. And guess what? We're all going to be buying some leaps. So we're going to literally probably buy leaps on, some of the best companies in the world that aren't going to go bankrupt because you don't really want to, buying leaps on like a CCL. When the market's tanking, you don't know what was going to happen to CCL, right? That's a good example right there. You don't know what's going to happen with Delta. They could have went under, right? They could have got bought out by freaking United or something like that.
But
So
you could have bought those. You could have bought those for
dirt
pennies
cheap.
dollar.
Yeah. So if you want to gamble, you could go that route, get into some stocks that, could possibly go bankrupt, but
Like
most likely
Ford.
might not. We talked about Boeing last night. Boeing would have been the ultimate stock to buy leaps on because although their aircraft side was doing, shit, they still had the federal side that was literally probably worth more than the stock was worth at that time, right? So you could have been into Boeing, and that would have been a sure bet because they're not going to go bankrupt. The United States needs Boeing. Too big to fail, right?
Absolutely.
JPM would have been another good one, probably.
Oh yeah,
So
the big banks would have been good.
that's a strategy we talked about last night. We'll probably, deploy a lot more leaps. And we're talking about buying them, not selling them here, okay? Matt's the only one that actually does, sells to open on leaps.
Yeah, and if this were to happen though, if this were to happen, like
man.
another market crash, and we go out and buy leaps, we're not talking about selling covered calls or poor man covered calls.
PMCCs.
We're just buying them and sticking them in our pocket, and
Yeah. For
and just
6 months, a year, however long. And you're going to make many X your money. Another strategy we talked about is, I think even Matt's, I like this strategy actually. QQQs, market goes down 30 or 40%, move that over to TQQQ, right? TQQQ works best on a very quick move, not a long burn. So we go down, the market goes down. Shit, less than 30 days here, we hit 37% down, right? And the market recovered pretty quickly. So it's elevator down and then, literally stairs up. That's such a true statement. Ever since I started investing, it's always been a true statement. All right. Do we have any questions here that I missed? Oh, shit. I've missed a bunch of damn questions.
yeah, it depends on where you're at now.
Do you see point any out?
Well, someone asked me a question.
Where at?
Hype Tran?
Is that near the bottom?
Yeah. Oh wait, no. Investing Sensei. I started selling naked puts. What are your DTEs? 1, 2, 3, or 4 weeks?
Good question.
I would say yes.
Yeah. I think that's kind of that's a relative question because I think it's different for everybody. It depends on how hands-on you want to be. Um, I tend to, I don't know, Jesus, I'm all over the place.
Yeah, I tend
uh,
to have a mixture.
yeah, I have a mixture too. I'll go 30 days on a lot of the stuff lately, but it depends on the stock, right? Like a Tesla, I don't want to do 30 days on a Tesla.
Yeah, I do 30 days. Me personally, I'll do 30 days on ETFs. I'm comfortable doing that. And then stocks like, I don't know, Zoom, Tesla, that type of thing, I wouldn't do more than a week. But that's me personal.
Exactly. Like it's just you might, oh man, I can make, 500 bucks if I go out 30 days. Well, I mean, so much can happen in 30 damn days in a stock like that. Tesla is Tesla, but especially a Tesla. That's the reason why I stick to 7 to 10 days at the most on a Tesla usually. Let's see, was it my short calls? PMCs are using buying power. Yeah, it doesn't show it. Yeah, it's not using margin or buying. It's yeah, it technically is, but it doesn't show it for some reason. Let's see, T stonk. Yeah, regarding PMCs, you tie. Is this a question?
Yeah, he's saying you tie the cash up when with a PMCC, you tie the cash up for a long time. Yes, because you are purchasing that leap with cash on hand.
Buy 2 year leaps just above the money. Are we talking about? Are you talking about PMCCs? We're going deep in the money because we're trying to remove the extrinsic value. So
Yeah, I think he's got it
haven't
backwards.
removed.
'Cause we would sell the
Yeah,
short calls just above the money.
yeah. So the leaps, we're literally trying. I'm releasing a video. It's talking about the tool, but honestly, I tell you how to calculate it in there, right? You're literally taking the price of the leap plus the strike, subtract it from the current value or the stock value. You can figure out what your break even is. You can figure out what the extrinsic value is. Try to remove as much of that extrinsic value as you can. But obviously, the deeper you go into money, the more money it's going to cost you. So your cash on cash return is going to get lowered. So there's a little bit of a jockey in there that you got to do. Yeah. So I think that you and I, maybe even Cloud Ninja, we're all trying to get around that $10,000 mark contract wise. Maybe you're not. I mean, but you're not going like the lowest down strike you can get, right?
No, I'm doing exactly what you said, trying to get that extrinsic value out of there as close as possible.
Here's one for you, Gerry.
Are you doing this options thing full time for your income? Technically, yes, but I am actually not spending the cash that I'm generating as of yet. I still have some other income that I'm generating outside of options that are paying my day-to-day expenses, my day-to-day bills. So I'm not having to rely on the options income, but I probably will shortly.
But this is a game changer. This is a cheat code for life. I mean, honestly, if you do things right and you just obviously the larger your account is, the more money you can make, the safer you can get as well. Um, but it's a great way to supplement, your dividend portfolio. I don't know if it's I mean, that's a tough decision. I mean, if you could push off being in a coma for the next 2 to 5, 10 years or whatever, right? Like it would be a great way to just supercharge your wealth quickly compared to like dividend stocks, right? But it's not
Yeah,
coma money. It actually requires work, right? A little
yeah,
stress.
it's work. It's not the way I'm doing it. It's basically a full-time job. Well, part-time job because the market's only open 6.5 hours a day. So
Golden boy, my boy. I only need 10x to retire tomorrow. Yeah, jeez, man. You can have
That
my
works.
2.5 million dinar. You can buy it from me. You have to buy what I paid for it, though. I've had that crap for 15 years. To me, at this point, the amount of money I paid for my dinar literally has provided, and I paid over $2,000 for it, by the way. It's provided $2,000 worth of entertainment of all the dreams I've had of all what I would do with that revalued. So it's been worth it, in my opinion, even though it's complete monopoly money at this point. Let's see, what's this one? I heard a wise man once say, "I don't buy premium." What happened, Dave? Yeah. Well, first of all, you made a mistake. I'm not a wise man. Um, I don't buy premium, but when it comes to the market being down 20, 30, 40%, like that's a great way. Like just buying stock is going to work, but why not leverage that money that you're going to buying those leaps, right? It controls 100 shares of that stock. You can buy it for pennies on the dollar compared to what it would cost you to buy 100 shares of that stock. Why would you go that route, right? So I don't. In general, I don't buy premium. I mean, the leaps are a little bit different. You're a calendar year out or more, right? So
And it's after the market has made a huge move. So I think that's key. And this is something I wanted to touch on too, is because I get a lot of flack because I say that I don't play earnings on my cash secured puts, and then that's just me. I'm not a necessarily a gambling guy. I'm not going to guess whether this stock or that stock is going to move up or down based on earnings. I'm going to wait until after earnings, find out which direction that stock wants to move, and then I'll figure out my game plan. But if you're doing it beforehand, you're just kind of, okay, 50% it's going to move up, 50% it's going to move down. Which way am I going to go? And to me, that's just guessing.
the proper way to play that is with a straggle, by the way.
Yeah.
I've never technically ever done a straggle because it's super expensive to do. But if you know, I mean, I might want to get touch in this video. The right way to play a Tesla earnings is with a straggle. Anyways, he's been doing a lot of videos lately on. He's got a channel, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that's his channel name. No, that's not his channel name.
That's
But he has a
investor.
channel. Yeah, exactly. He's been doing a lot. I think he's trying to target 2% a month, 2% 2% a month challenge. Super easy to do, by the way. Like 2% is like kicking back. I mean, Gerry, you're killing 2%, right? I mean, it's good though. 24% a year, right? That's what I'm shooting for. Okay, even though I kind of underestimated at 12%. In my because I like to under calculate
2% a year.
deliver.
2% a month, killing it. Because I mean, what is the market average? 7, 8. So you're 3x in the market.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is like 24% a year. Like, oh, that's just too damn. It is. It's easy with options to do that. If you're selling premium, it's easy to do that. So, but think about it: 24% a year, right? That's killing it. Randy's more like what is he 100% or something?
Probably.
Oh shit. Yeah, that's a true statement. Jeez. And we're doing strangle sometimes on Tesla. That's a bad thing to happen.
I just answered that question. The next one. I didn't even see that.
What are your thoughts on selling naked puts on earnings week? Yeah. Some stocks I'll let it run through. It just depends on the stock. And when it comes to the PMCC short calls, I don't care. I'll run it anyway. I don't care. Matter of fact, we'll take advantage of the extra premium. So
I think I think it really depends on naked puts. It depends also, on the volatility of that stock. If it's a tech stock, I ain't touching it. If it's a Tesla, I ain't touching it. Zoom, no way.
We
But
both got burned on Intel.
yeah,
Stupid move, but yeah, what
but
the hell?
if it's a Coca-Cola or something like that, yeah, that's probably not going to make that kind of a move.
Another way that earnings can F you a little bit, because it just happened to me. It just might as well talk about it. I had Square. I sold a naked call on it. Okay. Now they have earnings not this week, but they have earnings next week. I sold a naked call on it last week, and the stock has just been going up. Right? It's literally melting up at this point before earnings. It was still about $20 from being in the money. I decided to cut it. I took a $140 loss on it.
Yeah, you have
And
to watch.
because I have a feeling it's just going to literally go up until earnings. And my expiration was this Friday, which is before earnings. So most likely it's just going to melt up before earnings. So it's just a calculated guess there. And what made easy taking that loss was I had something else I could take off for a gain. So I still had a gain on the day. So why not just cut it for a loss, take a gain off, and wipe out your loss for the day and still end the day with a gain? That's just what it was a calculated decision that I made there, because naked calls can really hurt you. PD is a great example of that. Matt's a great example of that. They're both in this chat right now. Stock Ninja too, but I don't think he's here.
He just popped in.
Did he?
Things just really went quickly here.
I love the limited downside in leaps versus own 100 shares. Just no dividends with leaps. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You make way more money than a damn dividend anyway. Hey, I can use the extra money to save with the dividends. Yeah. Using Valentine's, so yeah. Yeah. How depressing that is. Let's see. Usually go probably to get proved. Randy, one of these days we got to get Randy on here, because I mean, Randy makes like 30 to 50K a month doing options. Okay, so he literally prints a Tesla every month, right? So we could talk about his strategy, and honestly, I don't even know how he deals with it, because there's some days where we have like a 2% drawdown in the market and everything's red and it's scary, right? And now most of my positions are all safe still. Unless you have like a February of last year, you're pretty much okay. But with him, I would say like even a 2% drawdown is probably going to test a lot of his crap. Like it's literally going to be close to being in the money, or if not in the money. And we'll say, and what's the favorite thing that he likes to say, Gerry?
It'll all come back.
Yeah, exactly.
Just roll
It'll
them.
all just come back, hopefully before it expires. So,
But yeah, I mean, me and you, we play the depending on stock 90 to 99% probability of profit. Randy's down there in the 68 to 70. It's like, holy cow, if we are getting tested sometimes at 90 to 99%, yeah, he's probably, you gotta, man, that's a lesson. Randy's got to sell risk pills or something. How do you
he's
get
got
that?
some large nuts. So, I mean, that's matter of fact, he's been out for a week. He went under the knife. He literally had a nut reduction. So, we joke around with Randy a lot, but we do know him a little bit more personally than a lot of other people do. He's a super cool guy, smart dude, and just literally kills it. I'm happy with 24%, even though I'll probably do better than that this year. Like, I'm happy with that. You know what I mean? Like, if I can just take a lot less risk, a lot less stress, sleep better at night, less management to get less return, I'm okay with that, right? That's the great thing about options. You want to kill it? You can do that too. You want to be more passive? You can do that, right?
Yep.
Golden Boy, we touched on this at the beginning of the video, Johnny come lately over here. Pros and cons. The pros is like zero risk. There's like secondary risk. I mentioned that earlier in the video or live stream. They're like secondary risk. They're not like, unless you sell below your cost base, you're not going to lose any money, right? So don't make that mistake like we talked about. Somebody, was it this freaking Thursday night when we were doing a stream, private stream or whatever? Somebody talked about selling below their cost basis on like Amazon or something like that, and they got burned. And I'm like, it's not really getting burned. That's you burning yourself. So
yeah, you made the choice. You choose the strike call, so that's kind of
So that's the mistake. Like, other than that, there's no real like direct risk to losing any money at all. Yes, you could have something just run up on you, and you're going to miss out on the upside. The other risk is, or you don't. It goes in the money. You don't. It gets called away. You don't. Take care of it. You don't roll it up. Whatever. You could have a realized gain on your stock. And that could be a lot of money if you've been rolling it for years or something like that, right? Yeah. Once upon a time, we thought the cheat code 12 Daily Pro. Nobody knows what that is except for me, probably. So.
What is that? Is that GNC?
No, it's it's kind of an old thing. It was called what the hell was it called? Used to click for money, watch ads and click on it, and you'd get paid for it.
Oh, okay.
So, some people call it a Ponzi scheme, but I mean, the person that owned 12 Daily Pro technically got busted for a Ponzi scheme. It was questionable whether it really technically was. I don't know. Yeah, I lost money on that, by the way. Let's see here. Buy TQQQ when the market tanks again. Yeah. I like Matt's his strategy. He wants to do with it. Be in QQQQ now. Be in QQQQ now. If it tanks, then transfer to TQQQ. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, TQQQ is not something you just want to stay in because it bleeds off, right? So you want to be in TQQQ when it's going to make a big move in a short amount of time, right? So the market tanks 30 or 40%, then it's going to move 30 or 40% up in a somewhat quicker fashion than it would typically, right?
Essentially, we're talking you are going to take that 20%, 30% loss in QQQ, but you're going to just transfer that over to TQQ, and you're going to get a rocket ship on the way up once it recovers.
Correct. TQQQ is triple leverage, by the way, but it bleeds off. So let me tell you what that means, really. If it bleeds off, let's just say the market goes down 10%, and over like a 6-month period, the market goes back up 10%, then you're still going to be down in TQQQ because it bleeds off. All right. There's other things that do that too. See, I think TNA does that. Some of the other VIX do that too. Some of the other ones I was trading, they do the same thing. So you go down 2%, comes back up 2% while you're still down because it bleeds off. So
most of the leverage funds are like that.
Right. Yeah, be careful with those. I'll take 2% a month all day. Freaking Absolutely. I'm averaging about 3% last month. This month I'm up or past 2% already at this month. I'm already up 11 grand this year, and we're not even through freaking February at this point, just in the options account. So, and I wouldn't say I screwed up, but I mean, I did test another strategy out last week. Sold a bunch of positions, that were in profit, even though they were lower, 10 or 20% or something like that up. Sold them, got into SPY, got into QQQ, was just trying to go that route, right? Straight SPY, straight QQQ. I'm like, all right, this is going to be easier to manage. Just stick a lot more contracts on with SPY and QQQ. Well, there's a flaw with that, right? The flaw is it takes a boatload of freaking buying power for those darn things. That's partly the flaw. For how much you're getting paid, I had a hard time even getting to 2% a month with where I wanted to be. And that was the other issue. The other issue was it was like, 15% probably in the money, which literally was only like a 5% move in a 30-day period. SPY can do that. SPY can do that in a week. So I just felt like I didn't feel comfortable with that. I had more stress, more anxiety that week than I did with having, 40 individual stocks on, 40 individual options positions on. So I just ended up getting out of it and got right back into doing option individual stocks again. So that's something to be said there. Trying to go that route, if you want to get safe on, you're going to make a lot less money, but obviously there's less stress there. But you're not going to make 2% a month being safe on SPY. Maybe people will say, well, it's less risky than individual stocks. Well, is it really?
I don't
It's
know.
really not, because
Maybe if you had a huge account and you can get a lot safer, and
you won't be making 2% though, right?
yeah,
You'll be making a crap load of money. If you have $1 million account, you'll make a lot of money, but you're not going to be making 2%. So don't think you're going to be able to do that. And with an individual stock, it might be more risky in a way, but it's not, because I can get safer than what I can on SPY, right? In general, stocks tend to fall whatever the SPY does, right? The SPY goes down 1% a day. Most stocks are going to go down, at least, depending on what the beta is, right? It's going to go down at least 1%. If the beta is 1.5, it might go down 1.5%. If the beta is less than that, like a staple stock or something like that, it might go down less. But in general, stocks fall what the SPY does. 24% a year, that's 10x in a decade. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother. All right. Randy, does that mean you're up 97% last year, this year already, or what?
this month.
I got to pay for that hospital bill. Yeah, that's the great thing about options. No, I think you mentioned this. We don't really mention this enough. We can make money in up market, down market, sideways market. Doesn't really diagonal market, freaking obtuse triangle. It doesn't freaking matter. We're making money every which way possible, right?
We just adjust our strikes, and we adjust our stocks we're messing with, and it's money all the time.
There's my boy Stock Ninja. So Stock Ninja's been humbled recently. So he got broku'd, and we came up with a verb using Roku. We call it Roku now. That's like, literally, did you get Roku to that stock? I mean, I got Roku in Square, right? So he learned a valuable lesson. He had a boatload of contracts, naked calls on Roku, and he lost a lot of money. So the lesson he learned was, don't go in heavy with a boatload of contracts and naked calls on a stock like Roku, right? You could probably get away with it on like a Coke, even though we probably won't do it, but you could probably get away with it. It's a lot less riskier. But so he learned some lessons there, and he's changed. We all have our own rules. We talk about this every freaking live stream. We all have our own rules in our head, right? Sell it to open on stocks I want to own. Sell it on quality stocks. Sell it on down days. Sell calls on up days. I mean, there's all rules we have. So
yeah.
He changed his rules recently. Maybe he has a scanner set to $100 billion market cap stocks only now. So he added some new rules in there, and honestly, look at other people's rules. Ask them what their rules are. Maybe you want to add one of those rules into your rules, right? So when he puts a position out there, we both look at it. We'll put eyeballs on it. We'll look at it and say, oh, well, I know that he's following these rules, so I could pretty much almost parrot trade that perfectly. Although I always try to get a better price than he gets, just to piss him off.
That always happens.
Remember puts on Beyond Meat?
I don't think I played that one.
I don't think I have any open on Beyond Meat right now. I did, but I don't have any on it right now. The premium was garbage, personally, but that shit dropped 30%. Yeah, tastes like shit too, probably. But see, Intel CC at 50 went to 50. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about Intel. God, I literally. Everybody should be thanking me right now. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave. Because I literally caused that thing to go up past 60. All right.
My son thanks you. He got in at 47, so
yeah.
He's still in it. He doesn't want to sell. I talked to him today. He goes, I'm holding. So
It's gonna probably now's the time to be in it. Pat's gonna change that. He is. I mean, if anybody can fix that stock, it's gonna be Pat. If Pat can't fix it, that stock is done. Nobody can fix it. But it's a long term game at this point. They have to change a lot of people's minds. It's going to take a while to do that. It's going to take multiple years to change people's minds that this stock has changed. It's not. They're not an AMD. They're an AMD killer, but it is what it is. Any thoughts on doing spreads? The less profit, less risk. God, we always touch on this, huh? It's like it goes back and forth.
I've never done one, and it doesn't never appealed to me. So I don't know. We looked at it for a short while.
We understand why people do them, though, right? Because they have small accounts. Usually, is the biggest reason why. And I'm going to talk about like super small accounts too, like 10,000 and below or something like that. Iron condors. They'll probably even mention those, which is basically just two spreads, upper end, bottom end, same thing as a strangle, basically. But I don't like spreads. It's a defined risk, right? But it's a guaranteed risk, or it's a guaranteed loss if it hits. I don't like that aspect of it. But is it really guaranteed? No, because you could roll it too. You could roll it. It's just going to cost you more money to do that. Let me just say this, because this is my way of looking at it that always talks me out of doing a spread. I can make more money doing a naked put because I can get way safer than the spread, right? And still make more money than the spread. But I can get way safer at the same time. So to me, that's less risk, right? Even though it's not a defined risk. So that's the way I look at it. For you people with the small accounts, you might have to stick with the spreads because you need to cap your buying power by selling that naked put, by buying the protection, right? So I understand why people would use them, but just I don't know, try to think about do you really need to use them? Why not just go safer on a stock, a solid company, and make money that way than putting on more crap you got to manage, more commissions. I don't know. I mean, you want to add anything to that?
I just think with those, I think the tendency is to try to build up your account faster. So I think, I mean, I could be wrong, but I just think you're setting yourself up to a little bit more risk, or trying to build that account up because you're starting small and you think you need to be aggressive to grow it. And like I always tell people that get into all this, just take your time, slow down, learn it. Don't think you need to do anything fast, especially in the options market, because the options market doesn't go anywhere. It's not like the stock market where you can miss out on a 20% upside or something like that. The options market, you'll be able to make money at any point in time. So you don't need to rush to grow. You need to slow down and make sure you understand what you're doing. And I think that's where, especially a lot of the new people coming in really need to focus on.
I would almost tell people, why would you do a spread to begin with? Are you doing it because you have a small account and you need to cap your buying power, or the margin requirement or whatever? Or are you doing it because of the risk mitigation? Look at those two things. If you're doing it for the risk mitigation, then seriously think about doing a cash secured put without the protection on it. Go out further. You know what I mean? Not in time, not the DTE, but in the strike, right? Go probably in the money. Go lower down, and you're going to make more money, less the hassle. It's not going to be, if it goes against you and that takes you out, you're going to be like, oh shit, I just had a guaranteed loss. Boom, it just hit. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how I look at it. Obviously, everybody's going to be different on that, but TAM, I think you did a super chat last week, and I think it showed up after I had already stopped the live stream. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Let me answer this question for you because I think you even asked this question. I don't know if we're even still in this chat or not, or what. This I had to scroll way up for this one. CCIV shoot up. You asked me about doing. I think it was covered cash secured puts on this. If I'm not mistaken. So CCIV is, I think, Lucid, right? It's a SPAC. It's not something I would touch personally. What I would probably do is wait till they transition out of the SPAC status or whatever and convert over. And then maybe I would actually honestly look at maybe even, I'm going to say it, but buying a leap on it. Because I actually like Lucid. I like Lucid. So I've never really been a big Tesla fanboy personally. So anyways, I don't play stuff like that. Gerry doesn't play stuff like that. Stock Ninja doesn't play stuff like that. Matt used to play stuff like that until he got burned. Randy doesn't really. Well, I don't know. Randy's all over the place. Randy's Randy. I just don't touch crap stuff that can move 30% in one day in either direction. I just don't do it. Let's see here.
Where are we at now?
Yeah, that's a good question. What's Randy's YouTube channel? Retire with options. What advice do you have for someone just getting into investing? Why VTI or VOO? Don't start with options.
If I would have done it all over again, yep, I would have bought VOO and I would have been probably sitting pretty right now.
VTI or VOO, both good choices. Matter of fact, VTI encompasses literally almost all of VOO. So if you're in VTI, you're in VOO. If you're in VOO, you're not in VTI.
Someone asked me today, well, isn't it too high to get into? I go, well, how long do you have to invest? They said 30 years. I go, well, in 30 years, you'll probably think today's price is cheap. Super cheap,
yeah. You'd be kicking yourself that you didn't put more money in it, actually. Spreads. We answered the spread question. We answered Randy's question. What's this one? Do you have a standard percent of the money? Yeah, my starting port's always starting point. What the hell's wrong with my freaking voice connection to my brain today? My starting point is always about 5% probability of the money. Okay. So I mean, some platforms don't have that. Go with the delta then 0.05 will get you close. Yeah, 0.05. It's not always exact though. Like delta and probably on the money aren't exact. The numbers are calculated different. Probably the money comes out of the current stock price, comes out of the days to expiration. It also comes out of the implied volatility. That's how that is calculated. Can you do the math manually? Yes, you can do the math manually.
Selling covered calls. I think it depends on the stock. It depends on your strategy, what you want for the stock. I mean, if you want to keep the stock, then you look at a different way. If you want to just maximize the premium that you collect, then you sell at the money, or above your cost basis. So it really depends on your goal for the particular stock.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you got to look at the stock you're in too, because every stock, a 5% probably the money is going to work in most cases. Like that's always my starting point. But like SPY, I come up a little higher on that. I might go as high as 10% on SPY. I'm trying to think of what other stocks I do. I guess I could just look at my portfolio here, but I'm always hanging around that 6 to 10%. Usually it's below 10%. It's very rare that I even do 10% or higher. I do have one on Clorox right now. We're about to get Roku'd on that darn thing. On the downside, though.
I think you're fine.
14.5% probably the money on Clorox. Look at that thing on a chart, though. The last 2 or 3 weeks, it's literally it needs to hit a house at this point because there's no stopping that downslide. It's Clorox, but I'm not too worried about it. I don't think none of us are really worried about it. It's a solid company. We can roll up. We can take the stock at worst case.
Yeah, that's not a bad one to just take the stock.
I like 20th Delta. That's just, you're going to make a crap load of money. You're going to be like a Randy, but it's more than I want to deal with. Because I look at the stuff I'm in now at 5% product money, and I look at the things that get tested with that alone, let alone a 20%, right? Or 20 Delta. So, I mean, you're going to make a lot of money, but there's going to be a lot more stress involved. Maybe the stress doesn't bother you, but it might bother other people. I
Yeah,
think it's one of those things
it
where
bothers.
everybody's,
It definitely
yeah,
bothers me. I definitely want to be. I definitely want to manage less positions that will be challenged in that way. So, if I get, one of, just a couple a month that challenge me, that'll be okay. But if I'm doing that on a constant basis, weekly on multiple positions, yeah, that's not a good feeling.
that one right there. I mean, I think it's a case by case or personal basis. Everybody's gonna be different. Some people might be comfortable with that. I mean, I think Thumper hangs around there too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Stock Ninja used to as well. He not anymore. So you get skittish real quick when you have a big loss.
That's
And
the
if you
thing.
don't make
It's like,
mistakes, like super, you don't go in heavy, you don't go, I mean, you're not gonna have a big loss, right? Don't do anything stupid. Don't literally do this for a month. Oh, this is easy, and then just go hog wild, the boatload of contracts on a meme stock because you're gonna get burned.
yeah,
It's just a matter of time.
you really, that I think that's the problem. That's what messed me up in December when I had a really, really good month because it was like, oh, I got to keep doing this. This was good. I got to keep this up. And you got to really think about this. Like you said, 2% a month. That's easy to do, but we end up a lot of people tend to be like, oh, that's only 2%. I was like, dude, put that in
Because it's so
context,
easy.
right? Exactly. Put it in context though, and it's like 2% is damn good.
I had like 2% in the first week or something like that. Some crazy amount. Like, I mean, Jesus, 2%. It's so easy that you're starting to think like a caveman. You're like, oh man, I could do this and this and this. It's like you start getting bored because it's too darn easy. And that's when you make mistakes. You make stupid freaking I'll gamble mistakes. Yeah, Randy's strategy, honestly, it's been changing. He doesn't really. I'm speaking for Randy here, but Randy, he doesn't really do junk stuff. He might throw like a gamble out there every once in a while, but if you're making 30 grand a month, I mean, you can gamble with us. I mean, you can throw a gamble out there every so often, but
Randy,
in
Tesla,
general, he sticks with
and
pretty good
Amazon.
stocks.
Yeah. Tesla, Amazon, QQQ.
Yeah,
And you're talking
Netflix. I mean,
70% probability of money.
yeah, he might not even be doing that much anymore, but
Yeah. He's in ARC cash secured puts right now. I'm in a couple of those as well.
I'm on the fence about those. I think on the put side, I'd be okay with ARC G. I've done both sides, but I was getting Roku'd on ARC K for a while on the naked call side. All right, that's it. I'm not doing naked calls on freaking ARC K anymore.
Forget the call side on ARC.
And the bias is toward the upside. I mean, it is what it is. Unless you catch it, I mean, last week talked a little bit about looking at charts and all that. That can a little bit throw an edge in your favor. If you can wait, which I don't even do that anymore. I don't even wait for down days. I don't wait for the bottom of the channel and to sell puts or anything. I don't even do that anymore. But if you did do that, it would really put things in your favor. Yeah. TVIX. Yeah, that's another one. That's another one of those ones that will bleed off that you have to be, if you had a 60% move in in volatility that day in the VIX, then you're gonna make a boatload of money. But guess what? How often does that happen? It doesn't happen often enough, and you're just gonna get bleeded off. And then when it does make a 60% move, you're just gonna be still down. Be careful that TVIX.
Randy says comas can be scheduled now. We try our best, Randy.
If you know how long your coma is going to be or how long it's going to last, let me see. I'm going to be in the coma for about 5 months. Let me sell 180-day DT.
We got to set that. You got to set that up with your doc. Talk to your doctor first.
Randy was pretty funny when he was hopped up on morphine, talking to us and stuff. And he literally said, "Oh man, now I know why Dave talks about coma money. I need coma money." Damn, I just missed a boatload of freaking shit here.
Yeah, I think we're way behind.
Holy shit! Let me try to catch up here. Yeah, screw you, Dave. Wait, screw you,
What?
Dave.
Oh yeah,
yeah, screw you, Dave. Always, but yeah, yeah. Less cash type. Yeah, spread. What are your go-to stocks for naked puts? I have a list of stocks I do. Unfortunately, I don't have my platform up, so how many stocks are on there? There's got to be at least 30 stocks on my list now. CRM, Adobe, Netflix, Tesla, Amazon. Let me actually pop up this Costco, Facebook, AVGO, Microsoft, Crapple, Boeing, HD, LMT, BLK is another one we have on right now. IWN. You guys, IWN's a recent one we added. So that's the stuff that's on the list.
yeah.
We add stuff. We take stuff off.
I do quite a bit more ETFs than these guys. I do QQQM, ARK-K, ARK-G, TAN, IWM, IWO. Some of the sector. I've been doing XOP lately, which is the oil sector ETF. I don't know. I can't think of all the other ones. Are just I'll get into them and then I'll make money on them and then I'll forget about them for a while.
I think Investing Sensei talked about having a Tesla at a 600 put. Expires this Friday. I'm in there with you. You're my buffer, though. I got a 580 for this Friday. So, and that was a 3% probably in the money. Honestly, when it comes to Tesla, I like to be down there at the 3%, lower than 5%. I do have one for next week as well. That's a 500. That was like less than 3% probably in the money. So that's where I'm at on Tesla. Is it going to hit 600? Probably not. It's only 4 days. But that's just where I'm at. Spreads are also good for the Teslas and Amazons. Yeah, that's exactly what we talked about. Hey, Dave, are you related to Lim? Is this an inside joke?
No, it's a boy band. You got to look up the boy band One Direction.
Well, I know One Direction, but it's not like the Hanson boys or twins or whatever the hell. The Hanson brothers.
See, I gotta look at. We gotta look now.
Oh crap!
No, I don't see anybody that looks like you. So
it's better than me calling the Brady brothers. Well, I've been called that.
I don't know who's who in there. So
we'll take the Brady brothers. Shit. How much margin do you use when selling puts? It's nice to get an extra buying power by trying. Literally, I'm using about 50%. And sometimes I'll go as high as 60. Depends. Like right now, I think I'm at 54. So it depends. Like this 3-day weekend, I honestly had intention to putting extra crap on because of the 3-day weekend, but I ended up not putting extra crap on because I couldn't find anything that I wanted to worthwhile putting on. Gerry, you're pretty hot and heavy.
Yeah, I don't like to call it margin though. It's buying power.
Right.
you're not really using margin unless you get assigned something and you don't have the cash to back it up.
Maintenance margin.
Yeah. But I definitely use the Interactive Brokers has 4-to-1 buying power, and I definitely use quite a bit of that.
Now, for anybody that doesn't know what that is, like most brokers, I don't know about most brokers, some brokers, probably like a Fidelity or Schwab will give you 2-to-1. Okay. They're like literally the gatekeepers over there. They hold the approvals and all that, like make you take freaking piss tests and sperm count tests and all that crap. So you go to IB, get 4-to-1, and you're gonna make more money than you're gonna make at a Schwab or a Fidelity. But it's also a double-edged sword, because if something goes wrong, you're gonna be in a world of hurt. Okay, you're gonna likely, if you have a 10% drawdown in a week, you better start taking some damn gains off ASP. Okay, that came from ASP. I'm sorry, I got that from Tony from Gold Rush, but from ASP, start taking some crap off, because they'll start liquidating some crap for you if you don't do it.
Happened to me once. Well, no, take that back. I got the warning.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they don't screw around. The broker's not going to put them in positions where they're losing money. So they're literally will go in there and start liquidating crap for you. And
they don't care whether it's profit or loss or anything.
no, they don't care if it's dividend stocks. They don't give a rat's ass. They'll go in there and liquidate it. So that's a good point. It brings up a good point there that PD brought up 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. He had his dividend stocks with his options account. Okay, I'm not talking about doing cover calls here. I'm talking about these advanced things that we're doing here. Okay, have that separate from your dividend stocks, because if something ends up going south, they'll liquidate your dividend stocks to bring you within compliance as well. So just be careful with that.
I used to have some ETFs in my options account, and actually, when I got that warning last month, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm out of it. Let's get these out of here and just do straight options in this account. So,
Cody, my man, I'm still not going to respond to you in Discord. Sorry, it doesn't warrant a response. 2% every week, you can do it. It's pretty aggressive, but you can do it. It's just aggressive. It's more aggressive than I want to be. PMCC, you can actually get like 5% a week, if you wanted to, but 2%, 5% a week, it's doable. It's just way more aggressive. Talk to Randy if you want tips on that. What's this one? Brad Finn's Patreon. A lot of people are doing tons of options. PMCC selling that money. Yeah, hype stocks. Ugh. God. I wouldn't touch that with Gerry's poll.
Yeah, that's for you young guys, but for us older guys that like to keep our money.
I just have to think, though, what's the allure of it, though? What is the
It's
allure?
the big fast money. That's what it is. I mean,
2% a freaking month is not fast good money. Give me a break. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Jesus. Guess what? That get rich quick, because you can get poor just as fast, if not quicker.
That's what I was saying. A lot of these people that, I mean, as many people that we know that lost money in GameStop this past couple weeks or whatever, there's that many people
and 60 grand, by the way.
Yeah, there's that many more people that lost their ass as well.
More than that. Yeah.
So, it's not like the ones that made money were good. No, they just got lucky.
A little bit of luck there, yeah. I mean, we've already hashed out GameStop. I mean, Jesus, I came this close. You know what I mean? A sea hair, basically. I came this close to selling and make a call on the GameStop at when it was $60.
$60.
So it was like,
I was the one that brought it up.
Yeah, because that was before we knew about the Wall Street bets debacle. The whole thing was going on over there, right? It was maybe it's the Kodak, maybe it's just coming out of the woodwork. They sold a lot of games this month or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it made its
So
first move up, and we were like, okay, this $60 call is like easy money. It ain't gonna keep going.
and then like what?
$300
2 weeks
later.
later, there's an 800 strike available. Jesus. So just don't. I honestly just stay away from it. Stay away from it. There's no reason to be doing it. I don't know. I mean, when is 2% a month not enough? Yeah, Stock Ninja, I agree. You're compounding. Yeah. Until you take a big loss like that, you won't really understand. I've taken a big loss. I've taken $30,000 in 5 hours, okay, on a penny stock. It's rough. It's rough. Even Matt talks about this every day. He's still skittish after that big loss he took. He's skittish. Okay? Stock Ninja, he took a pretty big loss. Not, it wasn't a GameStop loss, but he's still skittish to this day from that loss. I'm not skittish anymore from my loss, but it's in the back of my mind. There's a lot of lessons I learned from that, right? Don't make those stupid mistakes again. Stock Ninja still exists. Yeah, he still exists. He just doesn't make videos anymore, but I only do. That's my boy Blue. I only do cover calls and ARC funds. Yeah, yeah, okay. So I mean, we were talking about that earlier. We don't do naked calls on it.
Yep, that works.
We learned our lesson when it just continues to go up every single day, regardless if the market's going down, right?
Stonks,
So that like
ARC stonks only go up.
yeah, exactly. It's funny. Most people don't talk about it, or the people that just get by replace new people. What was he talking about? Big losses?
Probably getting burned.
Yeah, a lot of people. You're right. I respect people that talk about it though, because the people that hide the losses, they're doing a disservice. I almost feel like you're you're helping people more by showing them the loss than a big gain. A big gain doesn't do shit. It might get you some followers on Twitter. Who gives a crap? They're gonna learn something from making a video on the loss, though. No, who cares about getting the damn followers? I don't care about the followers on Twitter. I care about teaching people. Don't take those damn loss. Don't make those mistakes.
Still don't even know how to use that damn platform.
Yeah, I don't either. We're Gen Xers. what can we say? Bunch of Zennials in here. Let's see here. I'm trying to stay away from that stuff. Frank, I think you got a good head in your shoulders, bud. For sure. I mean, make sure you tie up a woman right now though before you get the engineering brain going on. That's just a piece of advice. Let's see here. Too lazy to make videos now. That's because you're making too much money on options.
Yeah.
That's the reason why.
Says sector ETFs aren't bad for long DTE. Yeah, I agree with that. Mine are usually, well, no, I'll take that back. My oil ones, I usually do 1 to 2 weeks because oil is pretty.
Right now, you got to kind of be careful too. Exxon freaking, or what? XL pipeline, gone.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be careful right now with oil.
But that's driving oil prices up. So
yes, that's true.
Doing puts on XLE or XOP has been pretty okay for me in the past couple weeks.
Yeah, I think oil. I mean, Matt's our oil expert, resident expert here, by the way. So oil should just continue to be in demand over the next 20 or 30 years anyway, regardless whether you think EV's going to take over. There's not going to be EV boats, there's not going to be EV airplanes, okay? The thing would be able to get off the ground.
Frank says he's going to bed already.
Jesus, what are you, 40? No, 40 years old. What are you, 80 years old? Yeah, he is going to bed. My buying power at 8K. My margin Maintain margin 36K. So that's somewhat safe. 8. What's 8 times 4? It's 24, right?
8
Or is
times
it
4 is
32?
32.
Jesus Christ, I don't know math.
That seems what's your net
Maintain.
lick? I think that,
Yeah. What's your net lick? That's because we're going by net lick.
yeah. Sounds kind of like me though, actually.
Buying power at 8K. But
And he
he's
would
using
say,
something
is
at
that
this point.
somewhat? No, my buying power is a lot more than that. So it
Yeah.
sounds like you might be using up a whole bunch of stuff there, Damien.
Yeah, let's not have a down day this week.
Yeah.
Close to selling one of the game. Yeah. I don't know what, honestly, I have no idea why. Because it's so easy to get wrapped up, following y'all, oh, let me put that on, it's like, and then I had to step back, and it's like, why would I put one on this crap stock, right? It's like not even worth more than $10 or $5. I don't know what it was before this whole Wall Street bet thing. Like, why the hell would I freaking like? It's not a company I want to own. It's not a company that I would even probably invest, buy, common shares of.
Mm-mm.
Neo, that's all Good's favorite. She's probably in bed counting sheep at this point. Um, I don't honestly. Every time I look at Neo, every time I look at Palantir, it's just like it looks like garbage. Like, and that's not to say the stock is garbage. It's not to say the company's garbage. There's two different issues here. NIO, you're literally at the liberty of whatever China wants to do. That scares me. Okay. I was in Wynn Resorts and they literally tanked Wynn Resorts because of Macau, right? They put clamp down, they modify or they manipulate their stock market, they manipulate their currency. You're at the liberty of all that crap. And I don't want to be susceptible to that. So that's the reason why I don't screw around with Neo. Palantir, it just hasn't been out long enough. It's a meme type stock, even though it's not technically probably a meme stock, but it's a meme type of stock. Like, I want to be down where I want to be on that stock. There's no premium there. You don't trade either of those, do you, Gerry?
I do Palantir. I don't touch Neo. But I
Yeah.
do Palantir. But I'm down in the $20 range, and I
want to be below that though.
yeah, there's nothing below 20, but I pulled off my puts because of earnings coming on Tuesday, and
It's
depending on
probably
their
smart.
move, I'll look at it again.
So here's my play on Palantir at this point because I knew earnings was coming up as well. If it tanks on earnings, I'll sell puts, sell open puts on it. Because I know I can get some premium out of it and probably be a lot lower. Hopefully that thing tanks below 20. Um, I want to buy some. I want to sell some stock. Oh yeah, okay. ARK goes up because their second largest holding is Roku. Yeah, you just talked about that. Well, sorry, Cody did a video on that today or yesterday. It's the second largest holding after Tesla. So that's so you got Roku twice. If you were in RK plus you were in Roku, you could get and Tesla. You could get Roku 3 times.
Yeah, you got to watch that with playing these ETFs as well.
Let's see. ARK goes up because all their stocks go up. Yeah, I think you're just in love with Kathy Woods, you MGTOW follower. You. When are you going Keenan Grace on this show? The better question is it looks like you've gone Keenan Grace on your channel. How about that? You're giving the people what they want, right? The 50x stuff. So you're the one going Keenan Grace, buddy. Nobody knows what that is, but this is how you go Keenan Grace, by the way. Okay, that's how you go Keenan Grace. It's going up right now. 50x, 50x, 50x. You got to do a lot of pointing. That's going Keenan Grace. No, I
Ooh.
don't pump stuff like that. I probably never will.
Damien says his net lick is 38K. Yeah, you're running extremely hot there.
Oh, Jesus.
His maintenance margin is 36K. His net lick is 38. You're running extremely hot. You're running way hotter than I am, and I think I'm running hot. That's extremely
60%, I would literally try to stay below 60%. 60% on a 3-day weekend is probably okay,
Yeah.
but it still scares me because if something little. So the thing is the last couple drawdowns we had, like 2%, 2.5% here in one day, um, it freaks you out. If it had gone down the next day, we would have been in trouble a little bit, right? We had to take some stuff off. So it doesn't take very much to put you in trouble
At
where you
that,
have to take some stuff off.
yeah, at that level where you're 36 maintenance margin and 38 net lick, it doesn't take anything for them to.
No. You
It
have to watch your buying power like a hawk because
yeah.
that literally will move pretty quickly. After hours, you'll see it fluctuate and everything. So you got to be careful.
So your maintenance margin divided by your net lick, that's kind of, I like to keep that around 60%. If I'm going into the weekend, I like to keep it around 50, but going into the weekend, if I have some positions that are in the green that I could take off quickly on Monday, I'll push that up to 60, 65. But during the week, I like to be in that 50% range of your maintenance margin divided by your net lick, be about 50%.
Engineers are cool. Yeah, but we have trouble with women. I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, it's cool that they understand. If people understand that engineers we're just different socially, then that's cool. I respect that. That's why I tell Frank, because he's in engineering school. I mean, super smart kid, young kid, good head on his shoulders. I told him to get a woman before he gets out of school, before he gets all jacked up in the head. I thought you watched my Roku one already. I watched it today. Um, yeah, you Kathy Woods lover, you. Let's see here. Unfortunately, I haven't yet. It's cold over here. Yeah, it's cold all over the freaking U.S. Seattle got snow. We had snow. We're -6 degrees right now. We were -8 last night. We're cold here, but I'm snug in my house, so I'm good. We don't we just got a dusting of snow. It's all gone now. Even though it was still only 0 degrees today, it's all gone. Seattle got more snow than we did. What? How toasty are you right now? Are you 70?
No, not quite. I think in the daytime we're in the low 60s or high 50s.
Oh, okay. Yeah, CCL. Have you looked at cast secured puts on CCL? I was curious.
Yeah, I have, and it doesn't excite me. It just doesn't. It's not. There's not enough there for me to do it because I'd like to be down in that $15 range for CCL, and there's nothing really there.
We do own, well, I do anyway. I do own two leaps on CCL, 2 years out. So it's up. It's been fluctuating around that $20 mark though. So I'm not up very much on it. But that's how I'm playing CCL because I do think it's a company that will survive and it will come back probably in the next 2 years. People will sail again.
Yeah, I don't think the cash secured put side, it isn't bad if you want to own the stock, if you want to be down there in that $18 strike or somewhere in there. But the premiums aren't too bad, but I don't want to own the stock or manage the position at that point.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I don't know. I don't know what the premium is. And, probably where I want to be on the stock, there's no premium anyway. Talk mostly established stocks, blah, 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 holds. What is your fascination with RK? Jesus. Is that all you like? You're dumping your dividend stocks. I'm just waiting for that video there. You're going to 100% in freaking RK. Thumbnail just as a joke. Yeah. That's clickbait. That's what that is. Let's see here. So let's say you only hold VTI 500 shares or any other ETF and you want to make some money in it, options. Covered calls, baby. Talk about the beginning of the video. Jetsting asked that question. So I do that strategy in my dividend portfolio. Okay, I have 1,400 shares of VYM. I sell 14 contracts every month. This last time I did 60 days on it. It's actually in the money right now. It expires this Friday. So I got to make a decision. I'm going to roll it because I don't want to have $17,000 in gains I got to deal with. So it doesn't pay a lot of money, but it's almost essentially it's free money. So and VTI is not going to move a lot in a month. It's not going to move a lot because I think VTI only has monthlies anyway, right?
Yeah, most likely.
24 years old. Oh shit. It was negative, obviously. I was negative till 35 years old.
Actually, I was
So
probably pretty good because that's probably around the time I declared bankruptcy. So I was actually great at that point.
yeah, you were zero. I literally had a negative net worth until 2010. So I was 70 minus 70 grand because of cars and lead foot and all that other bullshit I had issues. If I had to do it over again, it's easy to look back and say, oh, this is what I would have done, right? Like, I wish I wouldn't have done this. I wish I wouldn't have done that. Every freaking car I've ever owned, I've lost money on. Granted, if I would have held my Porsche, I would have made good money. But I've always lost money on a car because it's not really a good investment. It's not an investment; it's a liability. But houses, honestly, it's probably a good way to go if you can buy a house in your young 20s and hold on to it for 15, 20 years and then freaking fire. You should be doing well, right? It's like a forced savings account. It's a forced savings account. Not all houses are good investments. Don't get me wrong here, but it's a forced savings account for a lot of people don't have the discipline to invest or know how to invest. That's the reason why a lot of people do become wealthy and they can retire, even though they're not savvy investors and all that, is because it's a forced investment.
Also, it protects you from inflation. So
That's part of it right there.
yeah. You lock in that house. If you're young and you can buy a house, you lock in your housing cost for the next 30 years. I mean,
2% a year, 5% a year. If
rents
you're
is
in a good
nothing
area,
but go up. So
not everywhere where you live is going to appreciate 20% a year or something like that, right? But there is areas in the United States, New York and California and other places that will appreciate, much beyond what inflation would. I love engineers, especially female engineers. Are you a lefty? A lot of engineers are left-handed, so I'm a lefty. Actually, I'm ambidextrous, but I am a lefty. I think I'm more left than I am right, but I do a lot of things right-handed. Engineers try to analyze and joke. Yeah, that's the problem. I usually end up hearing a joke in a meeting, and then later on that night, I might laugh in bed when I'm going to bed. So, let's see here. What do we got? Jesus, God, man, I'm too slow, Gerry.
yeah, I wish I can control this too.
Yeah, I wish you could too. I don't know I don't think it's possible. I'll ask
No,
Matt.
I'm sitting here trying to click on stuff. It ain't working.
Happy Valentine's Day. Or for some people, happy not a Valentine's Day. How about that? Okay.
Hey, I know that one.
I know you do. Close to selling one in GL. Okay, so I think I already done all that.
Shoot, I don't know where you're at now.
CCL, we talked about that one. Yeah, Gerry and Dave. Oh yeah, we did. Why don't you share your net worth, Cody? Put it down in the comments.
Oh, here we go. Now I'm caught up. VYM versus OUSA. Oh, that's kind of the same thing. OUSA is the Kevin O'Leary ETF. I like it. It's really friggin' expensive.
I heard a little hesitation there.
It's really expensive to own. It got good holdings, but honestly, it's I think the expense ratio is well above 0.5, and there's way better options out there than that.
So basically, what you're saying is you take it behind the woodshed and shoot it.
Yeah, I I'd take VYM over it. But I would definitely take DGRO over that as well. So
isn't there a DGWO or something?
there's a DGRW.
That's a monthly, right?
That's a monthly pair, so it's automatically better. But I'm kidding.
You pay for that though.
But it has a higher expense ratio. It's 0.28 on that expense ratio. But it has what DGRO is lacking.
What is DGRO lacking other than it's not a monthly payer? Because it technically covers it covers more than VYM does.
I think DGRW has the heavier weighting toward the
Better stocks.
Apple, Microsoft. Yeah.
You mean Comcast is not in the top 10?
I think Comcast is in the top 10 on everything.
Oh crap. Well, I don't understand that thing. UPS up there, Comcast. I mean, Comcast is, come on, that doesn't deserve to be up in the top 50. The heck is this? Damn you, Cody. Low key was thinking of dropping stocks like T and Verizon, buy and SPY to do options on. T is a PMCC money generator. That's like, I think 50 contracts on PMCC on T is like the way to go. But I don't know. Can you enter that one?
I just did.
Oh, okay, good. You mean you guys don't have YouTube and Gerry and you guys share their wisdom to you? Jerry's got way more wisdom than I do.
I don't know about that, but
you have your wisdom teeth? I got wisdom teeth.
Wait. No, all mine are gone.
Oh yeah. So. I should have had the Air Force take them out. Could have been free. Don't got to worry about brushing away the hell back there. I don't got to worry about having fillings way back there. I could put more money into stocks. I blew money. I blew my money in the 2000 tech bubble. That was 20 years ago, my friend. 20 years ago. You've had to recover by then. I mean, come on. So give us the rest of the story.
Unless he was all in on Cisco, then he hasn't recovered.
Well, that's pretty much any tech company back then.
Much, yeah.
A lot of tech companies never reached those numbers again.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in Webvan, see ya. A lot of people don't know what Webvan is, but that was the grocery delivery service that tried to start in 2000. Okay, which we're in 2020 now, and we're literally it started to become mainstream. Imagine 20 years ago.
And I still don't like it. Still don't like the idea.
A lot of .com went .gone back then. Let's see, Sensei, your parents give it to you. I was lucky to have my house at 20. You got a tiny house? I don't even know where he lives. He's one of those ones that are very secretive about where he lives and face and name and all that, just like Cody.
Oh, he says thanks to the foreclosures back in 2013. So he probably got a good deal.
Probably. You could buy a house in parts of Michigan for $20. Let's see. Oh, you're ahead of me, Gerry.
Oh, sorry.
Getting married was my biggest financial disaster. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I probably could come up with some good one-liner zingers for that, but I might get some unsubs, so I better not.
I got married. It helped me, so.
Yeah. Well, you got a good woman. I started investing after selling my home and had to do something with the cash. Yeah. Houses, God, I don't know. It's what's the word? What's the saying? The money's just locked up. So it's like your house rich. I think that's the word or the saying. Your house rich. You honestly, if you could, Rich Journey did it, right? They literally moved every 2 years, right? You only have to stay in the house for 2 years, right? I mean, technically, if you're renting it out, it's the 2 5-year rule. But if you're living in it, It's literally tax-free money. Buy, Burr's the best methods. You can learn it on Bigger Pockets, by the way. Burr's the best method. Best method. Buy the house, get it, buy a foreclosure, live in it, fix it up while you live in it for 2 years, and then sell it and do this process all over again. That's what Rich Journey did. We're talking about building your wealth super fast, right? Other than doing options, okay? I honestly don't know if that's better than doing options or not. You're still leveraging the bank's money buying the house, but we're leveraging here too. So, I don't know. That could be a pretty good apples to oranges comparison, right? Anyways, it's kind of off basis of what we're talking about, but it is a good way to build wealth quick. Obviously, you have to move every couple of years, which is kind of a sucky thing, but
Yeah, for sure.
What's that?
I don't like moving one bit.
I don't either. Plus, it cost you, $8,000 freaking U-Haul to move out of California anyway.
Exactly.
Let's see. What are your goals? Favorite ETFs for dividends? Or goals. What are your guys' favorite ETFs for dividends? Mine right now is VYM. Gerry's was SCHD for a while. GGRO is probably a better choice than VYM. But if you want more yield, then go with VYM. SPHD, haven't heard that mentioned here except right now because it's a piece of shit. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a piece of shit. Sorry.
I just started a position in DGRO. I'm going to try to use some of my options income to funnel some money over into DGRO. But I just started it, so I own like 4 shares. So I like DGRO though.
DGR is definitely, I would say it's one of the top notch for sure. Schwab makes some good ones too. No right hand here, old school Linux engineer. Yeah, in Linux. As many times as I try to sell Linux to people, they just don't understand it, don't get it, they don't care. I've been using Linux since the 90s. It's by far one of the most favorite things I've ever learned. But it's always a backup career too, even though I don't do it for a career. It's technically a backup career. I could fall back on it, but we don't ever have to worry about viruses either. So just found a cheaper, affordable, foreclosed home. Oh yeah, it's right. You made a video. I think you were talking about getting another house, and it fell through or something. So I don't know. Sorry about that. How do you buy a house in cash at 20? You have rich parents. How else? Honestly, there is zero down. There was zero down options for a while, even 5% down. So, at 20, you might not have the financial fortitude or whatever the saying is. You might not have the financial backing, but there was certain places, like I said, you could probably literally, there's probably people giving away houses in parts of Michigan.
Yeah. There's places, you look it up. There's governments that'll give away homes, but you have to agree to make the improvements, and you have to meet certain guidelines. You have to live in it, and all that kind of stuff. So,
what's this one? I think I just passed 100K mark in net worth. I just happen to keep it up. Dude, everybody, Matt, Kyle, Cody, Investing Sensei, all these young bucks here. Matt is a good example. 29 years old, 800K. Jesus. And at 29 years old, I was, still wet in the bed. You know what I mean? So, I was literally figuring out, it's just in the military. I joined the military at such a late age, getting paid, literally probably like $1 an hour or something like that, because you're technically working 24 hours a day. But
yeah, that's crazy. 800K. You guys are lucky you started that young. I didn't start until 43, so I'll never hit 800K. So
you might before you die.
No, I'll stop before.
Yeah. Well, I made a video on it a while back. There just comes a point where where making money is not the most important thing in your life. Trying to increase your net worth is something I'll probably always do, because honestly, I'll probably always make more money than I'm spending from the portfolio. But I have no desire to become a billionaire. I have no desire to become 100 millionaire or anything like that. Like the time to do that is not worth it. We're only on this earth for a short amount of time. If you have those goals, more power to you. I think you're going to get to a point in time in your life where you're going to be like, this is too much work. I have enough money. It's time to focus on other things. That's just a little bit of, um, a little bit of wisdom. Not that I have wisdom, but
for me, honestly, I don't know if I'm going to always generate money through this options thing, but where am I going to say, okay, I have 250K and is that enough? And to be honest with you, yes. And it's only reason why is you only have a limited amount of time. I mean, I'm 45 years old. My dad died at 58. So I'm not, I don't know if I'm healthier than he was at my age, but you just never know. So I would like to, stop and smell the roses, enjoy life for a little while, because you don't know when it's going to be over. So
yeah, I mean, look at Bezos stepping down. I mean, he could probably make a lot more money. Yeah, I mean that's a joke, obviously, but I mean, why the hell does it matter, right? I mean, Jesus. If you had 30K to dump on Leap, God, talking about buying them. I'm not really looking to buy a Leaf right now. It was ExxonMobil, was Intel, CCL, but I missed the boat on Intel. I missed the boat on ExxonMobil. So I don't really have any on my list right now.
yeah, I don't know what it would be on one. I don't know. I mean, to buy a Leap, you're talking about wanting to buy something that's depressed. So, I mean, you look
I
at the
would almost
hotel.
say like an airline would be a good
I
bet, but
was,
the problem with an airline is you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait 5 years. Look
yeah,
at
that's
2001. It took many years to recover from that.
that's what I
So
was going to say. Hotel industry, airline
hotel will probably come
industry.
back quicker than the airline would, but in a way they're kind of lockstep, those two, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, he or she. I don't know if it's a he or she. Sorry, it's one of those ones where you can't tell, but was busting my balls in the comments there. So the thing is I have this discussion all the time with many people that are Zennials, because they're like, why aren't you invested in QQQ? Why aren't you invested in RK? Put your 100% in your portfolio. You'll reach your $2 million goal or whatever, right? And then you can blow Matt out of the water. Because I'm in capital preservation mode. Okay, I'm a Kevin Leary at this point. All right, I'm not trying to increase my net worth at some staggering level. I'm more about capital preservation. I'm more about income, okay, than I am about growth. Growth is like the last thing on my mind right now. I don't care about it. At some point, my portfolio will be too big to fail. In that point, I will be shoveling cash into QQQ and ARCs and all that crap. But right now, I'm not at that stage. Once you get to a point where, trying to transition from working for I'm asking Gerry here. How many years have I been working, Gerry? For 26, 27 years, right? I've been working. Trying to transition from having a paycheck to not is not an easy thing to do. So you want to have some income coming in from dividends or options or however else. And having it just invested in RK and QQQ is a very risky thing if you're going to retire in 14 months. That's
Yeah,
just my 2 cents on it.
it's the transition. That's the hard part is transitioning to things, because it's that now you can't snap your finger and go, okay, I'm done, and move from one to the other, and then you realize you go from RK and QQQ, you sell it all and put it into VYM. What are you going to do? I don't know. It doesn't seem like the right thing to do.
Wow, shit. Every time I scroll down, it like jumps.
Yeah, I'm noticing that too.
So I missed a bunch of crap up to the top. Here we go. Married with Children. Yeah, that was a good one. Peg. Can you imagine having Al Bundy play like a serious part in a movie or something, like a super serious part?
Al Bundy was my hero.
Face makes you want to laugh, Yeah, working 2 jobs. Come on, that $15 minimum wage. You don't need to work 2 jobs. Jeez. If you have a job. Let's see here. I own Microsoft, Intel, and Cisco, and AOL, and Vertical Chat. Did you own Net Zero? What? AOL? Oh man, I own Microsoft, Intel, Cisco, and AOL. What's Vertical Net? I never heard of that one.
I haven't heard of that one. Some people still have AOL emails
and dial. You've got mail. Let's see here. That was like the best thing in the world to hear that. Which distribution flavor to use? Just doing agnostic. What's that? Oh, okay. Oh, talking about Linux. I've always been a Red Hat fan. I've been using Red Hat since Red Hat 6. SUSE is all right too. Never been a Ubuntu fan. Hate Ubuntu. It just drives me nuts. That's more of like a beginner freaking flavor. Getting married was the best. Yeah, she probably makes more than you do, Petey. That's probably why. I'm just busting your balls, Petey. Let's see here. Software engineer, lots of techie people. That doesn't make. I mean, that makes sense. They're all into stocks and shit, Yeah, it kind of makes sense. That's true. There's all good. She's not in bed yet.
Yeah,
she might be quiet. In bed, but yeah, she's very quiet. What's this one? Can you guys comment on the fact if you buy and hold QQQ from like 1990 in RK later on the 250, will you literally outperform? Probably. Absolutely. But I don't have that time, right? If I had 40 years or 30 years, I'd probably all in QQQ. All up in his business.
Yeah, if I was young, definitely.
I mean, so we're agreeing with you there. I think the problem is you're not understanding the old person mentality, when you don't have the time. That's the problem there. I have that argument with lots of Zennials and young people. Kyle's a good example. I mean, Kyle's kind of an in-betweener, but he's a tweener. What's VIM? Vim. Okay, sorry. VI. It's all about VI, not Vim. VI is for beginners. That's funny. Or maybe even they use something else like Pine. We're talking about Linux stuff. Sorry, Gerry.
Like, what are
Linux? Both your top go-to tickers for CSPs? That's a good one. Netflix.
For me, there's probably going to be ETFs, ARCs, ARC-K, ARC-G. I'll sell a monthly SCHD. I'll sell a monthly QQQM. I'll sell weekly XOPs. Depending upon the movement of the sector, I'll sell monthly XLUs, which is the utility sector. Yeah, that's about it. About you, Dave?
You get 2% a month off that junk?
Yeah, baby.
Jesus. I know you're throwing a lot of sprinklers in between them too, though. So
Yeah, that's not it. That's just those are like my go-tos. That's like usually I'll have all that on all at the same time.
my top plays for January through current day: QQQ, Spy, Netflix, Zoom, Amazon, Microsoft, Tesla, Apple, RK, Johnson and Johnson, and KO. Now, those some a little bit of those skew just because there's some PMCC thrown in there, but in general, QQQ, Spy, those are always on. Netflix, Zoom, Tesla, um, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, RK. Those are probably the top ones I do. And then I'll throw, I mean, we were doing some Spotify's and stuff earlier and Shopify's, but those are those are a little bit riskier. Yeah. Money is not everything. If you do have yeah, health is absolutely, if, I mean, think about when you're trying to make money, you're hurting your health theoretically trying to do that. Stress and you're not getting sleep or something, you're working overtime. So it's a gamble. Yeah. I look at it every day. I'm not getting any younger. Gerry's, what, about 5 years older than I am?
Yeah, sure. 5 hours maybe.
Yeah, yeah, a couple months. So goal retirement. So what's the goal for retirement? Yeah, not me. I don't need that much. What do you guys think when you hear people say Jeff Bezos should solve all the world's problems, like the world hunger and his health? Well, where they lean politic wise, that's where they kind of lean anyway. Although I don't like to try to get political on here because I'm kind of a hothead a little bit more rough around the edges.
I'll say
There's a
this:
lot
Jeff
of,
Bezos should do whatever Jeff Bezos thinks he should do.
yeah, he has the money to do anything he wants, even after he gave 50% of it away. I'm still the richest person in the world after I give 50% of the way, and then made the richest woman in the world too. That's pretty funny.
My goal for retirement, though, going back up, is about $3K a month. And I'm
3K,
good.
I would like to be at 4, but 3K would be, so my thing is I want to be about 3K coma money. And after that, I can supplement it with options money, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to buy a new welder or something like that. I'll just, there you go. A couple weeks of options money. There's a new welder, right? I can shit a new welder out.
Patrick asked me, "Do you still have your plan for the RV?" Absolutely, absolutely. I'm gonna
It's gonna
travel.
look, it's gonna have a little bit better paint job than the ones he shows in his video.
Yeah, I'm trying to upgrade the ones that I show on my videos. But we're not there yet. We're getting there.
Oh, he's just trying to troll me at this point. Oh, come on, man. Come on, man. I've been using Fedora for years. I'd never, ever go to Ubuntu because it's a piece of shit. I mean, it's not a piece of shit, but it gets people into Linux. I'm not going to disagree with you there, but I'm using Mate as my desktop manager, so you can throw that on Ubuntu and kind of look the same. But I've just been a Red Hat fan. That's the reason I've been using Fedora for years because Red Hat's based off of Fedora. So
I thought Fedora was a hat.
it is. That's the reason why Fedora has a hat and Red Hat has a hat. But
Oh,
anyways, Red Hat's owned by IBM. That's why we call it Blue Hat now. I thought CSP meant cloud service provider. Yeah. I mean, half the ones we do now aren't really even CSPs, right? They're really like naked puts.
yeah. I don't think I put on any literal cache secured puts.
Yeah, but we call them cache secured puts because everybody knows what they are. But naked puts, I mean, anyways. Do you like Arch Linux? Jesus Christ, was this turned into a Linux channel now? What is your guys' opinions? Sorry. What are your opinions on inflation will be coming? That's a good point. The thing is can we even handle 2% inflation, right? We've been on the freaking teat for so long, right? The government teat for so darn long. We could barely handle 2% last year without the markets going haywire, without, Orange Man telling freaking, whoever it was, I don't remember. It wasn't Powell, it was somebody else, right? It was Yellen or somebody was in the office, hey, cut the rates, like it's just, I don't think that we're going to be able to get above 2% for quite a while. For a while, I mean, it's a wrecked system. I'm not too worried about it. What are your thoughts on that, Gerry?
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I mean, it's all controlled. So, I mean, it's going to be now if they get nationwide $15 an hour minimum wage, that might cost some stuff. But other than that, if we just keep running along like we've been doing, I'm not worried about it because, I mean,
Hyperinflation.
yeah, I mean,
they're talking about it, but I just don't know if the market can support it. I mean, granted, the people in the White House now don't really care about the market. That's part of the issue. So maybe it could get above. I don't know, but it's going to be up to the Fed. I don't think we're ever going to get back to those days where we had 8-9% interest rates.
no. And if you think interest rates are going to go up, get the hell out of bonds right now.
Well, I don't know why you'd be in bonds right now anyway.
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why you're in bonds now.
Right now, the time to be is in equities.
But if you are in bonds,
a load of freaking stimulus that goes into equities.
Get the heck
free
out
money.
of.
That's one thing I learned from 2008. I literally I kept like rules and tracked of this shit for 10 years. Like free, I literally wrote it out. It was like one sentence, stimulus and what a QE 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 TARP and all that bullshit. Because there's different QEs, right? Free money for markets, be in stocks, common equities, whatever. So yeah, right now is the time to be in equities. That's a good point. I don't hedge. Stock Ninja does. I don't think you hedge either.
No.
To me, it's just a waste of money.
I'll just adjust as you need to.
I mean, it's a valid point. It's a valid strategy, but what are you worried about? If the market goes down, it's going to go back up, right? If the market doesn't go back up, and it goes to zero, then we need brass, right? Lead and brass. That's what's going to matter, not the stock and your money and your net worth. That shit don't mean nothing. You better hope you own some acreage and have a bus that's buried. Let's see here. Oh shit! What's the deal with this one getting popped up a lot lately? You know why people are popping that up? Because they love it. They love the quality of the quality of the cars and the high, the luxury look to them and all that compared to the low quality Tesla cars.
What is CCIV?
It's Lucid, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
The pot stocks are a good option buy. They tanked last week, so I don't know. That's all I know. That's about as much as I know about them.
Yeah, I refer to you on pot stocks.
There's an opportunity possibly because they I think there was ETFs out there that dropped 20-25% just last week.
Well, I mean, technically, don't we own it through MO?
You own it through MO if you own MO, but that's Kronos Group. But Tilray, I think, is the one that really brought the whole sector down this past week.
Why are corporations dumping dollars for Bitcoin? That's just your opinion, Ryan. Ryan, go check his channel out. This guy knows his crypto. He's my go-to for crypto for sure. I do own a little crypto. It's not a lot. I I'll probably buy a little bit more, but I definitely don't have the nutsack he has to put it into the crypto as much as he does. But I mean, he's been right. So go check his channel out. PD, what the hell, he busted my balls here. Was it Ryan's group? Ryan. Was it Randy? Jesus. Was it Randy's group that got you both really into doing options a lot heavier? No, it wasn't. I've been doing options for a long time. And I mean, last year I was doing options. I just wasn't, what the hell? I mean, maybe it wasn't Randy, but it was definitely a combination of a few things, I guess. I don't know.
I think he sparked some.
Because he didn't have a Discord at the time.
No, he didn't. But he had sparked some things because he made some early videos, like his famous, you're doing it wrong by buying AT&T video,
which you can't get, by the way. Like,
which you can't do anymore. Yeah,
yeah. That's such a fake ass video.
That was so perfect timed of him, but it was just a combination of things. He started throwing out stuff like, he's making XYZ, and we were like, what? And you started really digging into a little bit more things because we were real conservative last year, I'd say, on this, just actually doing cash secured puts and just covered calls. And then I started hearing Dave talk about interactive brokers, and we always shined him on like
everybody's shining on for
screw interactive brokers. They charge money. What the hell are you doing? And then, we got into it, really researched it, and find out the buying power and the fees really don't mean a damn thing, to be honest with you. And it's been uphill ever since.
Yeah, this so far I've paid over $430 in commissions this year so far. Like, damn, that's a lot of money. But I'm up $11,000 this year so far, just in options.
Yeah.
And that's actually outside of my covered calls that I do. That's kind of like it's literally like a redheaded stepchild that just sits out there. Like, I don't even think about it anymore. So the commissions they're there, but it's a cost of doing business, as Randy likes to say. What's this one? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so we all knew that Trump was going to get off, right? I think the market was expecting that. Yeah. And then when they pulled a snafu and said, "Oh, we're going to bring witnesses in," I'm like, "Oh, great! The market's going to tank." The market would have tanked for sure. And then they, found out that was a dumb move, and then they, acquitted him, all that. So I think the market's going to be right back where we thought it was going to be anyway. So I don't think it's a big deal. Well, it doesn't look like there's any more questions.
What's for dinner tonight?
Yeah,
I had a heart-shaped pizza.
Yeah, I probably should still eat dinner. I'm kind of like a late eater and go to bed at 3 a.m. and all that junk. So
I don't see how you do that.
Well, I sleep during the day, the whole day. So yeah, I don't know how you not do it. I know why you don't, because you have to get up early for the market now.
Yeah, I need to move to the East Coast so I can sleep.
Yeah, you do. If you don't want to get up that early, you can go move to, Asia or something. You got to be up at 9 o'clock at night when the market opens.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I looked at some of the areas that I wanted to spend some time and whatever. I'm just like, oh shit, I got to wake up at it's 9 o'clock at night. Market closes at 4 o'clock in the morning and shit. Like, geez. How do you decide what delta when you use? I don't know what broker you have over there. I think you're in Kuwait. I think you can have other interactive brokers over there, maybe not. But if they don't have probably the money on there, use your delta point. I'm a 0.05 person, so if I was going to use delta, that'll get you close. But
I'm a 0.10 on ETFs.
You're doing 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably, yeah, an ETF, you go any lower than that, you ain't going to get paid a dime. So just look for that. All brokers should have a delta option. Theta and Vega and Gamma and all that. Shit can them. You don't need that crap. Well, it looks like we're winding down towards the end here.
Yeah, I think so.
Did either of you look at Tastyworks? I have not. Randy has, so
I looked for about 5 minutes, and that was about it.
it's
Never signed
pretty.
up.
That's about it. It's pretty. If you want more information about Tastyworks, DM Randy on his Discord. His Discord should be in the description, I think. If it's not, I'll put it down there.
If I recall, he didn't like it.
No, he didn't. He said it was pretty for the Zennials. That's about it. Is it worth switching my sub 10K options account from crappy Robinhood? Thank God for putting crappy in there before Robinhood. To IB. 10K account, Gerry.
I started with a 10K account in IB, and I ended up trading a bunch in November. I got hit with a day trader violation, and then I quickly just moved money into it to do day trades completely. But you can definitely do some damage with 10K in IB. Just be careful. Don't try to trade. You don't want to trade as much because you don't want to get hit with a violation of day trading.
And
I think that's an issue with Robinhood as well. Anyway,
yeah, that's not an issue with IB specifically.
Yeah,
the pattern day trading rule is just an issue with every broker. That's a SEC rule.
I think, yeah, you're gonna be able to get 4-to-1 buying power, so you can almost double your buying power basically if you want to stay safe. So
I should mention this though, because in general, the strategy we're using, you really shouldn't hit a PDT issue anyway, because you're not in and out the same stock the same damn day, right? The same ticker. And it's like, I don't know 100% know if that rule transitions over or goes over to options. But if you don't, you do a different strike, it's technically a different stock, right?
Right.
It's a different contract ID and everything. But
yeah, I was when I started, I was going in and out of stocks the same day.
That's the reason why. So I don't know if that's 100% transitions over to options. I've looked it up. I've tried to find that answer. And there's conflicting information either way, right? And there's an easy way out of that too. You just do a different freaking strike. That's it. It's something different. But that technically is not different because it's a very similar, according to the rule, the second requirement rule, it's a very similar ticker. Same stock. So anyways, let's see if there's any more last calls here, and then we'll close it out, Gerry.
Hyliion question.
Yeah, I'm a Nikola fan personally, but
I am too for some reason.
Underdog. I love underdog stuff. So
yeah, I guess we're the same in that way.
Shitting all over freaking Trevor Milton. I'm like, this guy's a billionaire. Like literally overnight, he's a fucking billionaire. Like what? You know what I mean? You're gonna trash the dude? Like whatever. Snake oil salesman. I'm like, you know what? I bet you Elon Musk was a snake oil salesman back in his younger day as well. He still is now. Anyways, I think both are great for the country in the world. Hyliion and Nikola. I don't care either way. I think if they're both successful, it helps everybody out. Helps the globe out for all you climate change people.
I agree, but I'm not in either one of them.
I'm not in either one either. Let's see here. Just wheeling it for now. Don't open and yeah. Wheeling's fine. You'll be fine with that. Thank you very much for that, James. We appreciate that. It's not an easy game. It's a very, very tough thing to do week in and week out.
Yeah, a lot of people, they think, just do a YouTube channel. It's not that It's not that cut and dry.
Tough. It literally has become my life the last year and a half. And it's all, yeah, anyways, it is what it is. But it's great in getting feedback like that. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it's going. I hope you guys don't lose your money. Great show. Yeah, thank you for that. Buying power with IB seems worthwhile. Absolutely. I used to do videos on IB when I first started my channel, and everybody's like, you know what I mean? Like, this is just blow it off. I've been using IB for what, like 9 years now or something like that.
The buying power is great. Just be disciplined about your use of it.
IB is interactive brokers. Sometimes they call it IBKR as well. It's literally, so I've been using IB for about almost 9 years now, and the commissions back then were like pennies compared to every other broker. This is before Robinhood, okay? So, you had the Scott trade, the TD Ameritrade, and you had E-Trade and all that were like $9, $6, $7, all that. Well, IB a trade would cost me 75 cents. You know what I mean? So it saved me thousands of dollars a year in commission. Nowadays, it's not that big of a deal because of Robinhood. Thank God Robinhood came around, even though it's a rip-off platform. But it does have a purpose. It brings new people in, right, into the markets, and it lowered all the commissions for everybody else. But IB is still you get 4-to-1 commissions. It's a top-notch platform. You can do everything you want on it too. You can do futures on it. You can do options on it. You can do Forex on it. You can do international. I mean, you can do anything with it. It's a one-stop shop platform. It's a very professional platform. They expect you to know what the hell you're doing too. They're not going to hold your hand.
Yeah, don't press the wrong button.
Don't press the wrong button. Any plans for tomorrow? Yeah, we're all going to be staring at the wall, waiting paint dried for the market to open.
I actually might be working, like literal work.
Thanks for putting that in there. All good. Join that Discord. It's free, people. Randy's in there. I'm in there. Gerry's in there. I don't hang out in there all the time, but if you at me, I'll respond. If you want to ask questions, Dibs and Gerry, snizzle my nizzle. Dibs. Yeah.
Drizzle's been around forever.
Yeah, he has. Is it a he?
I believe so.
I should just use, what's the gender proper pronouns and all that?
Don't get me started on that one. I have no idea.
I don't even know. Oh my God. All right. We'll close this out in like the next minute or two. If you want to throw a question there real quick.
Investing Sensei wants to know, how is the IB app? I have no idea. I don't do anything on the phone.
I've heard the app is not bad. It's not bad. Don't expect a Robinhood app, okay? The nice colors and all that crap, okay? The baby shit green and all. You're not going to get that. But the app is better than Schwab's. I can tell you that. Not that that's saying much, but I mean, you know what? I really should actually look at the app more. You know what I mean? I'll look at it this week so I can at least comment on it. It's been a while since I've used it. So, what's your favorite type of woman? Oh, Gerry, is your wife around? You better be quiet.
She's right here.
Oh, yeah. She always listens to me, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like we got down to the end. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And Gerry, go ahead and why don't you give yourself a plug and all that? And
yeah, follow me over on GW ETF channel. I'll probably be changing my name. I'm trying to figure out what a good name is because I'm trying to be a more broad channel. When I started, I always wanted to be a niche and just do ETFs, but now I'm kind of going all over the place in retirement and income and options and ETFs. And so if you got some time, subscribe to me, check out one of my channels and leave me a comment and tell me what you think my name should be.
That's a tough one. And I mean, honestly, you and I, we do make options videos, but it's not like a core thing we've been putting out because it's very tough to explain and talk about, and also doesn't have the viewership for some reason.
Right.
So But we are going to be trying to put more videos out on options. I do have a PMC video that I'll probably put out on Wednesday. You probably will too. So
Yeah, I got one coming out on Wednesday as well. So
use your name. Yeah, the problem with the name is there's no investing in the name. But yeah, you got a point there. My original name never had investing in the name. It's Hidden Freedom, and I put investing in there because you just don't know. Like when you start out, like just I mean, people not subbing because they think or they don't even visit you because they don't even know you're investing. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. We can change it later on when you get to Graham Stephan's level, 100 years down the road.
then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Jomer. All right. Well, everybody, thank you for joining on this Sunday. I know the NASCAR got canceled due to rain and all that. But next week we'll be back. If you have any more questions, you can respond to comments on my community tab. I put a post there. If you have any specific things you want us to talk about, like a core thing you want us to talk about on the stream, like today we talked about covered calls a little bit, leave me a comment there or respond to this particular live stream as well. So all right. Well, let's go ahead and end it. Gerry, thanks a lot for joining, spending time answering these questions to help me navigate it.
For sure.
Appreciated. We'll see you later, everybody.
Have a good night.
Have a good week.